Ilaisa.
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 Ilaisa. E will do. Just don't call me a bad word, it'll be good.
Was there any hesitancy when Kalani asked you to come? Did you know right away this is something you wanted to do?
I think that obviously Kalani's my guy, and it's hard to turn the guy down. And I have the utmost respect for Gary Anderson, and he's helped me a lot in my career as well. And so, it was difficult because I was leaving Gary, but at the same time, it was leaving to be with another guy that I trust and wanted to be with. And so, for me, it was a win-win situation, and kind of just what I decided.
Coming back home to Provo, was that a nice perk?
Yeah, yeah, it is. So I've had a lot of classmates from Timpview, hitting me up on social media, and just excited to see each other again. Because of football season, I've never really been to a mission reunion and class reunion and all that stuff. It's just, but I'm excited to get in touch with some of the people that I knew before.
First time running the defense. Can you explain what kind of scheme you hope to run? Any of that kind of details?
Yeah, it's still kind of in the making, but as you guys already know, the recruiting for the last 10, 11 years has been for 3-4 or 3-3-5, and so we've just got to make sure that we do what's best for the kids and what fits the personnel first. And so, we've got different ideas as far as being able to do a little bit of both, but that's kind of still up in the air as far as doing what's best for the kids. I think that's the most important part.
What have been any of your associations or connections or even thoughts about BYU in the past?
I grew up a BYU guy. My dad went to school here and played rugby. He was actually teammates with Dave Smith, the head rugby coach. And so, I grew up right across the street and ran out here as a little kid when little kids could still run around at that time and come to the stadium when it was really noisy. And so I grew up here. I've always been a BYU guy. And just this life kind of takes you through different places. I'm really excited to be back. I'm really excited to be back and kind of back to my roots where I grew up.
You went snow in southern Utah, right?
I did.
Was there any recruiting at the time, either from high school or from JUCO to here? Were there thoughts about coming here? Was there a possibility?
There were thoughts of walking on. I just wasn't good enough to play here, which I was fine with. But the bottom line is I had to, for me and my situation, I had to take the scholarship, which was the best thing for me, and it worked out well. But I've always followed this school through all the many years that I've been playing, and high school and college, as well as teaching at high school and coaching in college. So.
Coach, was there a moment when you got back to BYU? I don't know where it kind of set in, but this is your, this is your home. This is where you're.
It's still setting in. So I'll get up in the morning, get ready, and look in the mirror and be like, wow, I'm wearing this shirt. So I'm excited. I'm excited. But I think it's still kind of setting in, and it's exciting.
Coach, did Kalani show you the schedule before you agreed to come or after?
I knew about the schedule before Kalani even came. So like I said, I followed BYU and always interested in just who's playing who and all that. And I'm very, very excited about the schedule.
What do you want your defense to be known for?
I believe that there's been a lot of great defenses that have played here in the last several years, as well as in the past, even when other coaches have been here. And I just want to continue to build off of that. Make sure the kids are playing hard, just build off of what has already been.
Coach Lamb said in your compressed time, the focus has been recruiting guys you want in the program, guys that are currently in the program. Can you maybe just talk about what's been going on last week, what you guys have tried to accomplish, and what you have accomplished?
Obviously I can't talk much about recruits and all that, but just trying to get after the best players that we think is a good fit for BYU.
What's the pitch? What's the pitch? What do you?
Every kid's a little bit different as far as what they're looking for and what the fit's going to be, and just the pitch really is just trying to personalize it for every kid and make sure that they feel like this is the right fit for them. And be honest with you, some kids at the end of it, after a couple of weeks, we just say, you know what, it's not the right fit for him and for us, and we just got to do what's best for the kid, even if he ends up going somewhere else. But we're trying to get the best players and trying to get the best fit, and we'll feel like, I know Coach Tuiaki talked a lot about recruiting, and we'll go against anybody and just go get the kids that we feel that we want and that fit in here. And it doesn't matter who's recruiting them, we'll go after them.
You tweeted about
to evaluate the talent at all?
Yeah, a little bit. To watch some film, and I'm excited. I think that we've got some good talent, and I think that the kids play hard. which is in tribute to what Bronco's done, all the time that he's been here, as well as to the kids. Kids being brought into the program and institution and doing it the right way. So I'm excited about the talent that's on the team.
You said on Twitter you were excited about working with, meeting Ty Detmer, first of all.
Yeah, that was awesome. Yeah.
Now that you're like with him and he's one of your colleagues, what's it like to be around him and with him?
I'm still starstruck, man. I look at him and, still a fan, and it's awesome to be around a legend like that, Really, really cool. And he's a great person. Which also adds to it. So.
BYU already had several recruits committed. Before you took it out, do you anticipate on keeping a lot of those? Or
we were working through some things and just, doing what we think is the best thing for the program. And all of that goes through our head guy, and he makes those decisions, but we got to do what we feel is the best thing for the program as we recruit kids and work through it.
What are some of the things that you're anticipating being a new challenge with a new position for the first time? Have you talked to other coordinators, other coaches that you've worked with in the past to kind of get ready for some of the decisions that maybe didn't land with you before?
Yeah, I've learned a lot from Kyle when he was there. He's involved in everything in the defense, as well as being with Kalani for the last couple of years, and Gary Anderson. And so just taking what I've learned, and I'm sure that I'll stumble on the way, but I think that we'll just keep pressing forward through those things.
Ed Lamb said he's got a lot of latitude with his, title. You've coached all 3 phases of the game. Is that going to help you in, supporting Kalani with what he wants to do here?
Yeah, I believe so.
Are you going to have more insight on the offensive side, or are you going to be mainly just defense?
I think that those guys are going to do a good job and we're capable of being able to do that. And so, I'll bounce ideas off of Kalani, and he'll be involved with defense, and I'll bounce ideas off of Ed too, and just make sure that we try to do everything that we can to be in a good position to put these kids in a position for success.
It seems like a really easy group to be able to collaborate with, just personally. Is that fair to say?
I think so. There's no egos, and there's good experience, and there's a Heisman Trophy winner. That's always good. I think that it's a good group, and I didn't really know Ty and Ed coming into this thing. I kind of knew of Ty and knew Ed just bumping into him at different, all poly camp and all that. But they're both outstanding men. I'm excited to work with them.
Where's things at with as far as getting the team ready for off-season stuff? Is that all set? Do you guys know what's expected in preparation for spring?
Yeah, I think the first thing, and Kalani's done a good job with that with our meeting this morning, is just get these guys set up academically to make sure that they're in their classes and have the tools that they need and schedules and all that stuff, and then they'll start lifting, I believe, next week, if I'm not wrong, and we'll have a good off-season workout before we get into spring ball.
Will you have a positional assignment? Has that already been selected?
That's kind of still up in the air. Yep, it's up in the air. I will have a position, but we're still working through that.
How soon would you like your defensive staff filled out?
As soon as possible, but I don't want to put a time. I don't want to put a deadline to it, because we just want to make sure that it's the right fit and the right guys, and so we're still working through that.
Are you the guy making those decisions, or is that Kalani with you? Or?
Yeah, it's a collaborative thing. It's a collaborative thing. We're working together on it.
Ed spoke about the meeting this morning with the players. What was your take on how the players accepted the message and how that all went to them?
Yeah, I think it was a good meeting. It was very simple. It wasn't long, and they kind of got a taste of what Kalani's like. He's a laid-back, good person. And I'm sure that they've been used to how Bronco was, but Kalani's just a little different. I think it's the best way to put it, and it's a good thing. And I think everybody's accepted the change, and they're excited, and we're ready to move forward with that.
It's early in the process, but knowing your style a little bit, can you see yourself being a press box play caller, or are you on the field kind of guy?
I think that's still up in the air. I think I can do either or. So we'll do what's best for what we think after we put the staff together. But that's kind of later on down the road decision.
You mentioned this a little bit, Kalani being a defensive mind and a defensive coordinator. How much control have you guys talked about that he's going to give you on the defensive side?
That's still being worked through, being worked through as well. I think I'd be a fool to not lean on him, you know, being a first-time coordinator and him having all the success that he's had in the past years. And I'm going to lean on him heavily, and we'll work through the decision as far as who calls plays and all that stuff. But he will be involved heavily in the defense.
You mentioned right now you're going to coach to scheme and things like that, coaching to the players that you have. Once you guys get your cycle of recruits in, do you have a vision for down the road of what you'd like it to look like once you get your guys, and what kind of guys are your guys?
Talking scheme-wise and all
Yes.
that, I think that you've got to be flexible enough to just make sure that you're doing what's best for whatever the kids can do. And so, if it ends up being a 4-3, then great. If it ends up staying a 3-4, then no problem. We just got to make sure we're doing the best thing for the kids and what fits their skill set and what they bring to the table.
When you worked with Kalani, could you see him as a head coach someday?
Absolutely, absolutely. He's a good man. He's a good leader, good motivator. And he's got great influence on kids and cares about kids. So absolutely no question in my mind.
How tough to leave Gary for the situation here?
It was tough, but like I said, I think it's win-win. And had a great talk with Gary about it, and he was awesome. He was. It wasn't hard at all to talk to Gary about it, and I think that's why I love him so much. It was just, I think it was a win-win, and if I stayed, great. If I came, great. And so it was tough to leave Gary, but we're still a phone call away. So.
You rubbed shoulders with Kyle Whittingham and Gary throughout your coaching career. What have you learned from them that you'll use in your job here?
They're both great motivators. They both have their own styles, but it's you have coaches that have been that successful. There's a lot of things that you learn from them and their styles and what they bring. And I appreciate both of them for what I've learned, and they've taught me a lot. Taught me a lot about the game and just about how to do things and do things right. And so they're a big part of me molding into, I think, who I am today.
Any other questions?
Is there excitement just to be part of this staff with, so many kind of young guys? I know it's still being filled out, but, Kalani kind of doing this thing for the first time, you doing your thing for the first time, Ty doing his thing for the first time. Is there a kind of energy about that? You guys all kind of in this fight together?
Yeah, no doubt. I think it's an exciting time, and change is always exciting, and we'll see what the future holds, but it's definitely an exciting time for all of us.
Anything else? Thanks, Coach.
Thank you, Coach.